Hello, everyone. My name is Max Drew. I'd like to take the time to thank each and every one of you at Bed Bath & Beyond for giving our team the opportunity to speak with you today. I am joined by Christina, Austin, Jenna, and Eileen, and we are here to help Bed Bath & Beyond get out from under this downward trajectory that they are currently on. At its core, Bed Bath & Beyond is a big box category killer. Prior to the rising popularity of online shopping, you were able to distinguish yourselves through a seamless, endless assortment of products at low price points. The main difference between the few surviving big boxes and the many casualties were the ability to adjust to the new environment. That meant not only seeing the big picture, but allocating the appropriate financial and intellectual assets to managing the change. Regrettably, for all the marketing savvy that the founders had incorporated during the pre-internet era, you were unable to respond to the new market realities, and we are here to help. So moving forward and defining the strategic problems and issues that Bed Bath & Beyond has been experiencing over the past few years, you can start by looking at the lack of adaptability to the era of e-commerce or online shopping. As you can see by these two graphics, Bed Bath & Beyond has experienced a 50% year-over-year decline in net profits. On top of that, they've experienced a 45% decline in stock price alone. This is simply unacceptable. The website is clunky and inefficient. Customers have to go through several more steps on its site to complete a purchase than they do at major competitors. The solution? Redesign the website. We need to make it simpler with less steps to complete purchases. We also need to improve speed of shipments in order to keep up with Amazon's 1 to 2 day express shipping. Most of the products that you sell can be bought just about anywhere. This makes it difficult for a chain to have a competitive advantage because customers can simply search the internet for price comparisons on their cell phones from the comfort of their own homes. We need to work with private labels and products that customers can only purchase through Bed Bath & Beyond specifically. So what are our objectives? Bed Bath & Beyond needs to look to rebrand, increase foot traffic in stores, and increase efficiency all around. Rebranding leading to the increased foot traffic can be done through target marketing strategies in order to reach millennials and Gen Z through the use of social media campaigns and an updated culture of forward thinking in regards to ethics and sustainability. In order to increase efficiency in stores, we must improve the layout and functionality of the store by cutting products and creating smaller footprints. We need to declutter the store floors, carry a smaller and more unique selection of goods. But first, we need to define the industry. As a whole, Bed Bath & Beyond is in the highly competitive retail industry, but as a market segment, they're specifically in the domestic merchandise and home goods segmented industry. And to talk more about that, I'll pass it to my colleague, Christina.
Thanks, Max. I'm Christina, and I will be talking about the strategic group map for the retail industry. This graph has product line breadth along the x-axis and price along the y-axis. In the bottom right corner, you can see Amazon, Walmart, and Target occupy a much larger share of the market than other firms in this industry. These firms offer a wide range of different products while also providing consumers with low prices. Bed Bath & Beyond, on the other hand, falls towards the middle on both of these two scales. You offer a wide assortment of home goods at average prices. However, these same goods and many others can be purchased from other firms for even lower prices. We conducted an analysis of the retail industry using Porter's 5+1 forces model. I will be talking about the effects of each of these forces on the retail industry and how your firm can deal with them. To start off, the risk of entry is weak due to high starting costs and large retailers having economies of scale advantages. The switch from brick and mortar stores to online has added yet another barrier, making it difficult for new firms to succeed. We can further reduce the risk of new entrants through building a loyal consumer base and increasing switching costs. The bargaining power of buyers is moderate because switching costs are low due to there being a large number of suppliers. This also gives firms the abilities to negotiate prices. By maintaining high barriers to entry in the industry, buyers will be able to maintain this level of bargaining power through a large number of suppliers competing for their business. Next is the power of complement providers. This is moderate. Complements in this industry include college move-in and increased home ownership or renting. These complements increase business, but only for short periods of time, since these purchases are not continuous purchases. To combat this, you should work with brands to provide exclusive product lines that can only be purchased at Bed Bath & Beyond. Next, intensity of rivalry. The intensity of rivalry in this industry is strong. The retail industry is dominated by few large companies all competing with one another through their pricing and product offering. To deal with rivalry, you should focus on a cost leadership strategy while also focusing on customer needs. Next, bargaining power of suppliers. This bargaining power is weak. The switching costs are low, and since the products are not rare, it is easy for firms to find new suppliers. If the firms don't like what suppliers are charging, they can easily go find a new one. You can maintain this level of supplier bargaining power by owning your own suppliers. This can increase the efficiency of your supply chain and reduce costs. Finally, threat of substitutes is strong. In the retail industry, it is easy for consumers to find replacement items that satisfy their needs, especially with the switch to online companies that provide all of the same services for even lower prices. You can deal with threat of substitutes through creating a valuable and meaningful in-store experience for customers that can only come from shopping at Bed Bath & Beyond. I will now pass it on to Eileen, who will talk about industry attractiveness.
Thank you, Christina. So I'm Eileen, and I'm going to talk about industry attractiveness. Examining Porter's 5+1 forces, Bed Bath & Beyond is unattractive due to threats of new entrants affects their sales. New entrants to home furnishing stores bring innovation, new ways of doing things, and put pressure on Bed Bath & Beyond through a lower price strategy, reducing costs and bringing new value proposition to customers. Bed Bath & Beyond has to manage all of these challenges and build effective barriers to safeguard its competitive advantage. Bargaining power of buyers is strong thanks to the little innovation. Buyers are usually very demanding. They want to buy the best deals available by paying the lowest price possible. This puts pressure on Bed Bath & Beyond's profitability in the long term. The smaller and more powerful Bed Bath & Beyond's customer base, that greater the bargaining power of customers and that greater their ability to seek greater discounts and deals. Substitute threats are greater because the company does not have a strong value proposition. When new product or service meets the needs of a similar customer in different ways, the profitability on the industry suffers. The threat of substitute product or service is high if you offer a value proposition that is uniquely different from current industry offerings. Bed Bath & Beyond has failed to develop a value proposition for its customers. The company cannot fight intensity of rivalry because it does not have sustainable differentiation. If the rivalry between existing players in an industry is intense, it will lower prices and decrease the overall profitability of the industry. Bed Bath & Beyond operates in a very competitive home furnishings retail industry. This competition affects the overall long-term profitability of the organization as it does not have sustainable differentiation. So, Christina is going to talk about industry life cycle. Thank you.
Thanks, Eileen. I will now be talking about the life cycle for the retail industry. This graph shows the different components for each of the stages of the life cycle. The retail industry is in the maturity stage, where there is very little to no growth, with few large companies intensely competing with one another to maintain their current market share. For Bed Bath & Beyond to be able to compete and remain in this stage, you will need to adopt a cost leadership strategy, which we will discuss further later on in our presentation, so that you can reduce costs and increase net profits. Through this approach, Bed Bath & Beyond will be able to maintain its current market share while also extending its life cycle. I will now pass it over to Austin, who will talk about the industry rivals.
Thank you, Christina. As we took a look at industry competition, we saw a wide range of companies. You have big box retailers, such as Walmart and Target, online giants, such as Amazon and Wayfair, and even department stores, such as Macy's, Sears, and JCPenney's. However, all of those companies I just mentioned are not your rivals. If you look at your screen, you see two companies, Williams-Sonoma and IKEA. These are your two true rivals. You have to outperform them, you have to be better. Because if you're not, you run the risk of going out of business. Unfortunately, due to IKEA's private nature, the following graphs and comparisons will only be made between Williams-Sonoma and yourself. On your screen, you now see a 10-year line graph. The blue line with diamonds is yourself. The black line with circles is Williams-Sonoma. This graph represents net profit margin. This is a great metric to look at as it indicates how well a company is able to generate income and cover their total costs. If you look at the end of 2008, you're above Williams-Sonoma by roughly 3%. Both companies are moving in the same direction. You trend down in 2009, and you start trending right back up. However, when we look at 2012, we see a difference. Since 2012, you've been on a downward trend, whereas Williams-Sonoma have maintained relatively the same levels, and they actually surpassed you in 2015. This is a sign that somewhere between 2012 and now, the company has made decisions that has drastically cut profits and has put you in a very difficult position. It's clear something isn't right, but we're here to help you turn that around. Now we're going to look at the operating ROI of the two companies. Operating ROI, again, is once a great metric. It looks at how effective a company uses their investments and manages their capital. In 2008, at the end, you were above Williams-Sonoma, just like you were in net profit margin. You guys both took a dip in 2009 and went straight back up. However, let's look in between 2014 and 2015 at that crossover point. At this time, Williams-Sonoma surpasses you, and your downward trend increases significantly. In 2014, you acquired Cost Plus Inc. With that acquisition, you inherited significant long-term debt and lease obligations. And so far, you have not been able to cover those as you expected. And even though a 17% ROI isn't horrible, you're moving in a direction where if changes aren't made, the company's going to go under and you're going to go out of business. And now, here's Jenna, who will discuss the company's value chain.
Thanks, Austin. When looking at the primary activities of your key value chain, it is important to look at operations. Your firm is not doing nearly enough research and development as a whole in order to make strategic decisions that will result in a sustainable competitive advantage. More research and development needs to be done in regards to being more impactful online, as well as how to be more efficient in stores so as to avoid those continual declining margins. Another way to keep up with your competitors is through your outbound logistics. You have a strong distribution network, but making a change like speeding up your shipping process could give your company an extra push in the right direction. As for support activities in the key value chain, there are multiple adjustments to be made. First, we would like to see work to build up your e-commerce infrastructure, as e-commerce is only becoming more and more popular compared to in-store shopping. While you have initiated a series of structural and managerial changes throughout the firm, it is important to focus on continuous improvement with your infrastructure. Also, when it comes to technology development within the firm, there has not been enough research and development to be able to create an advantage. While your membership program Beyond Plus is helping you keep up with the innovations of your competitors, you still lack the sources for an economic moat and must continue to research and develop new advancements. Improvements to your website may also be beneficial, since it is seen as inefficient with too many steps to make a purchase. When looking at a generic SWOT analysis, you can see that some of the strengths Bed Bath & Beyond possess are its brand awareness, its product portfolio, allowing the company to offer the right choices of products to its customers, as well as its reliable suppliers and strong distribution network. Weaknesses within the company consist of non-existent customer switching costs, lack of investment into research and development, and declining margins due to trying to compete with online retailers. Opportunities Bed Bath & Beyond has to improve a sustained competitive advantage are improving their online presence and sales with more research and development and using targeted marketing to appeal to specific audiences. Technology can be seen as both an opportunity and a threat for Bed Bath & Beyond. While new and increased technology can give the firm more ability to grow, technological advances of competitors can give them more of an edge on Bed Bath & Beyond than they already have. Other threats to the firm are online competitors and cheaper prices offered by other in-store retailers. While the SWOT analysis gives us a basic framework of your company's potential, we must go into further analysis in order to comprehend Bed Bath & Beyond's capabilities. Using the VRIO framework analysis allowed us to get a better understanding of each of Bed Bath & Beyond's internal resources and determine whether they are capable of giving you a sustained competitive advantage. Outsourcing and cost efficiency are giving you a disadvantage because your strategies are not valuable, rare, and they are easy to imitate. Although the firm's reputation and brand recognition are valuable, other firms like Amazon and Walmart have just as much brand recognition, giving this characteristic a lack of rareness. Bed Bath & Beyond's human resources are valuable and rare, since not every firm has human resources dedicated to ensuring comfort, openness, and growth to all employees. But other companies can easily dedicate resources to improving their HR, making it immutable. Product and design, marketing, and in-store operations all offer no value, rarity, or inimitability, since retail competitors are able to successfully implement those strategies and gain market share and competitive advantage. These three resources are negatively affecting your profitability and chance for a sustained competitive advantage. All in all, while the firm offers value in certain areas, it does not offer as much value as its competitors, which operate with more efficiency at lower costs. Products and in-store experiences are not rare, as anyone can get the same or better products and experiences at other stores and online retailers. It is not hard to imitate the firm's operations and strategies, as many of its competitors operate in similar ways with a competitive advantage. Bed Bath & Beyond must rework infrastructure and cost strategies in order to become organized and attain a sustained competitive advantage. Looking at which tangible and intangible resources your firm have can give us more of an idea of the longevity, wealth, and advantages your firm exhibits. As for tangible assets, physical stores might be your biggest one, with over 1,530 stores, including Bed Bath & Beyond, Cost Plus World Market, Bye Bye Baby, Christmas Tree Shops, and Harmon stores, as well as 10 distribution facilities. The amount of physical space you own doesn't always ensure competitive advantage, however. The closure of some stores was vital since they are big and inefficient, and you are not generating enough sales to keep up with the cost of leases. It is important to continue closures where you are not meeting the profit required. Another beneficial asset to the firm is capital expenditures going towards infrastructure and organizational reconstruction. Still, financial growth continues to go in a negative direction. Intangible assets include Bed Bath & Beyond's reputation and HR department. Having a reputation of good and reliable customer service, quality products, as well as a positive organizational culture gives the firm a leg up, but the firm's reputation is lackluster compared to its competitors. Competitors like Target and Amazon are also reputable for its customer service and organizational culture, as well as organization within the stores and online. Another beneficial intangible asset is the ownership of its other brands, Cost Plus World Market, Bye Bye Baby, Christmas Tree Shops, and Harmon Stores. It is clear that Bed Bath & Beyond needs to focus on acquiring assets that will set it apart from its competition. Now we will go back to Austin with profits and financial health of Bed Bath & Beyond.
Thank you, Jenna. Now, when we looked at revenues, we saw one primary stream: sales to consumers and businesses utilizing physical stores and the web store. The graph on the right shows us 3 years worth of revenues, cost, and net income or profits. Revenues can be seen in blue, cost in purple, and profits in pink. Let's start in 2016. Revenues here are about $12.1 billion. In 2017 and 2018, you see increases of about $100 million. This means you guys are very good at selling and increasing your sales. However, when we look at the profits, we're seeing something completely different. In 2016, profits are at $841 million. In 2017, they dropped to $685 million. And in 2018, they dropped to about $425 million. So what does this tell us when we have increasing revenues but decreasing profits? This means your costs are increasing at a much faster rate than your revenues are, which is digging into the bottom line. When we compare 2016 to 2018 profits, you see a decrease of roughly 50%. If the same strategies and same activities are kept, then you can be losing money or worse, out of business in just 2 to 3 years. It's clear a big problem here is the high cost, and we're going to work to drive those costs down. When we look at the financial health of your company, we saw 4 ratios that gave us valuable insight. Both graphs here give us 3 marks over a 10-year period, the beginning, middle, and the end. 2008 can be seen in blue, 2013 could be seen in purple, and 2018 could be seen in pink. On the left, we have your current ratio, or your ability to pay off current liabilities with current assets. In 2008, it was 2.05. It rose to 2.37 in 2013, and then dropped to 1.83 in 2018. And although it is a dip from both years, you're still in a great liquidity position. When we look at debt to equity, you see one single pink bar. And that's because prior to 2014, you had no long-term debt. And even with a debt to equity ratio of 0.52, you're still in a great position, and this time it's for long-term solvency. Now, when we move to the 2 metrics on the right, this is where we start to see some alarms. In 2008, return on assets is 15%. It increases over 5 years to 16.53%. But over the next 5 years, it decreases almost 10.5%. When you look on your return on equity, 2008, you're at 22.43% and increases almost 3% to 2013. But then the next 5 years, you see a decrease of about 11%. Now, why are we seeing these large decreases? This is mainly due to your significant increase in cost and the cost plus deal in 2014, where you acquired all that long-term debt. So now we have to work to cover those additional costs and maintain the same profit levels. We want to help you build strategies that will allow you to increase your profits to cover those costs and liabilities that you've taken on over the past 5 years. Now, Eileen will go over some strategies that we think you should focus on.
Thank you, Austin. So I'm going to talk about competitive advantage. We believe that a company should focus on a single competitive advantage. This is because Bed Bath & Beyond is in the middle between differentiation and cost leadership. This is not good since for this reason they cannot achieve their goals so successfully since we believe that the best strategy for them will be to focus on cost leadership. Also, the company must innovate its products more frequently. This so that its customers can be more loyal to the store and want to buy their products in the company since the products are always more innovative than in other stores. Bed Bath& Beyond should redesign its websites this to attract more public and also to make online shopping easier and faster, since that in these times buyers tend to buy more online. The company must also create value. This by influencing people who makes others buy, such as using artists in their commercials. This so that the people believe more in the value of their products. So Max is going to talk about cost leadership strategy.
Thank you, Eileen. In regards to competitive strategies, we propose that the Bed Bath & Beyond utilizes a cost leadership strategy in order to lower the final cost of products by cutting costs elsewhere within the business. For example, by having small product costs, buying on large scale, for example, few middlemen, fewer employees, etc. In doing so, you will be able to offer the same level of quality products or services compared to the competition. This allows you to offer the same thing for a lower price and in turn gain more profit. Walmart and Costco are great cost leadership business strategy examples. Their operations are so efficient and large scale that they can get the lowest pricing on goods, enabling them to sell for prices of a much more affordable nature than other retailers ever could. Bed Bath & Beyond needs to get back to being the Walmart of the home goods subset industry. Now let's look at the advantages. Increased profits, obviously, by gaining more business. Market domination over time. Unless your competitors are willing to undercut and go into the minus, it will become impossible for competitors to survive, allowing for market domination over time. In turn, improves business stability. When a trade war occurs or a downturn in the economy, for example, a pandemic, Bed Bath & Beyond will survive because of its low prices and costs. Now let's look at the problems at hand. Bed Bath & Beyond offers far too many choices. A lot of very good science is out there to show that human behavior has taught us that too much choice inhibits rather than supports decision making. This has a negative effect on the whole overall customer decision making process within these retail stores. The brick and mortar stores are simply dizzying. Their overstocked sections have far too many choices and a large array of products. For example, in some locations, there are over 50 different coffee makers on display, as well as frying pans from 18 different vendors. Bed Bath & Beyond, in this case, essentially becomes a showroom where customers go to look at products in person, but order them online for a better price. So they get to test them out and look at them, but they're not going to buy them from your store because they're not getting anything out of purchasing them specifically from you. And also it's getting to a point where it's almost too difficult to even go inside the store and take a look for themselves. Your company finds itself stuck in between a few different strategies and instead should focus on quality over quantity. They can do this by cutting inventory and therefore cutting wasteful prices in regards to supply and turnovers. Cutting inventory also creates necessary breathing room within the store and therefore becomes much more attractive to consumers and passersby. This will spark interest in shopping and allow retail to boom moving forward once again. So what are our solutions? Bed Bath & Beyond must start by deciding what categories they ought to represent and which ones they should exit. A properly re-merchandised store should have more carefully edited offerings while still providing category depth. You should analyze your best-selling categories and remove the bottom line percentages of offerings. Bed Bath & Beyond needs to develop relationships with their suppliers and cut out wastefulness in the store locations overall. They're simply too big and have too many offerings in order to have the quality that they need to differentiate and have lower pricing as well. By doing this, we believe Bed Bath & Beyond can get back on track and once again become the home goods giant that they once were for consumers of all ages and all demographics. Our team would like to thank you today, and we appreciate the time. Have a great day.